All right, welcome in. Mooser at the box. LSU drops the series at Auburn. They lose game 2, 4-2. The offense is just in a really, really rough place right now for LSU. We'll talk about problems they had in game 2. We'll talk about problems they've had so far over the course of both games because there's a lot of trends right now with the LSU offense. The quality of the bat is just not where it needs to be right now for this team and hasn't been really for the last 3 games now, including the one at Nichols. This was always going to be a really, really tough weekend for LSU. I picked LSU to lose this weekend for a lot of reasons that you've seen play out. I hate being right. This is not a victory lap. I wanted to be dead wrong. I wanted LSU to go out there and really show what they were made of, and they just haven't done that at the plate and in the field. The LSU pitching has been plenty good enough to have won the first 2 games of this series. The defense, specifically in the outfield, has not been good, and the offense has not been good. That is the reason LSU finds themselves in a hole now trying to stave off a sweep on Sunday. That is the reason. We'll go through all of it here. And yes, the silver lining is the bullpen. LSU's bullpen was phenomenal on Saturday night. They were phenomenal in game number 1 as well. The LSU bullpen so far, forgive me, I don't have their inning count, but they have allowed 2 earned runs so far in 2 games. And you have not used Cowan. You have not used Evans. That has been awesome. Like, that's what you've been wanting to see. So, yes, that's a step in the right direction. But offensively, you've been a sieve, and the outfield defense has just been really, really, really disappointing. And when you flip it over, Auburn has done everything that they normally do. They've won close games at home, which is one reason we liked them in this series. Auburn's stars have been stars. LSU's have not. I mean, Jared Jones looks really poor at the plate right now. He'll bounce back. Like, he'll snap out of it, but he's expanding the zone, as is LSU's entire offense. And it's costing you. 100% it's costing you. Auburn stars have been stars. They have made you earn everything at the plate like we knew that they would, and that has really been rough for LSU. Auburn struck out 7 times tonight. Hallmark of that team. They are the hardest team in the SEC to strike out. Yeah, Friday night you got them for 11, but none of them were strung together. They were all spaced out. That's what Auburn does. They compete every pitch, every at-bat. They've stayed within themselves. They have a great understanding of what their offense is, and their lineup is incredibly deep, like LSU's is. LSU's plan, they've been out of character at the plate. So that's really frustrating. It's one weekend, though. It's one weekend. LSU is 10-4 in this league right now. That's really freaking good. But they have to get this corrected, and they have to do it overnight because LSU cannot get swept this weekend. Like, that throws away a lot of the goodwill that you have built up by sweeping 3 series in this league. The third reason that we didn't like LSU this weekend against Auburn was the spot. And the spot has absolutely reared its head, especially in game 2. LSU looks fatigued. LSU looks fatigued. And Justin Surratt, I'm going to mark that comment about 2 weekends because I want to come back to that because I think you're wrong. LSU's offense for the conditions they played in a week ago was fantastic. 3 games I'll give you. 2 weeks, we're not going there. I want to come back because I had that written down to talk about in a broader scope when we talked offense. So I do want to come back to that and hear me out. But see, that popped up and I saw it and it triggered a thought, and now I got sidetracked. The spot. This is the end of a 7-game road trip for LSU. That's not something you normally see in college baseball, especially in league play. And they looked flat. LSU looked flat multiple times tonight in front of a large capacity crowd where, I mean, the energy was great and you didn't match it. And again, that's something that worried me coming into this weekend, and you've seen it. I'm not giving up on this LSU team by any stretch of the imagination. You still have 5 more weekends to go. and you've played really, really well over the course of the entire season, this is one weekend. Let's talk a little bit more in depth. We'll go through the game a little bit. Anthony Ianson was phenomenal that first trip through the lineup. He was efficient. He faced the minimum. He was very, very, very good. You go to the top of the fourth, and that's really where this game changed. So Milam had hit the solo homer. You're up top 1-0. You go to the top of the fourth, and that was a huge half inning for LSU because you were getting to a point where you look at a guy like Cade Fisher, who his best outing of the year, or longest, I should say, 4 innings, 75 pitches. So you're looking like, hey, you're at the end of the rope. And ultimately, he kind of, he followed suit there, if we're being honest. He loads the bases without the benefit of a hit, 2 hit batters and a walk, 2 outs. Stanfield at the plate. Stanfield's been LSU's leading hitter in conference play. Came into this weekend hitting .375 in conference play. He strikes out with the bases loaded. And that's inexcusable. There's no way around that. You cannot strike out in that spot. I know there's 2 outs and it would have taken the benefit of a hit. That's fine. Put the ball in play. See if they don't kick it. See if they don't rush a throw or the ball. If you get a fortunate hop, you have to put the ball in play there. You didn't. You punched out. That just started LSU's woes with runners in scoring position. You had 2 runners on in the first inning. Couldn't get a run across. But that 4th inning, I highlight that one because you had the bases loaded, a pitcher who hadn't got deep in the game on the ropes, and you couldn't come through. The other reason that was huge is because it could have lengthened your lead when Ianson went back out to start his second trip through the lineup. And while Anthony Ianson has been very good for LSU this season and has pitched well enough for LSU to win just about every time he's been out there, really every time he's been out there, the second trip has given him a little bit of a problem. That's been more of a grind for him. And lo and behold, it was. You give up the 2 spot in that frame, in that fourth. And, if you recall, it started with the hustle double. Started with the hustle double by Snow. That was when you had the 3 doubles in the inning. So you have the hustle double by Snow. He gets a huge strikeout of Rimbert. And then Ike Irish somehow gets the barrel to a neck-high fastball and drives it out to left field. Curiel starts in, has to retreat, can't get to it in time, and it bangs off the wall, and that ties the game. Then Cooper McMurray comes up, and he doubles to center field. And that gives Auburn the lead. Curiel, one thing I've noticed about him in this series in particular, his struggles have come early in the game. And at dusk. Left field, that's another thing we talked about, is the oddities of Auburn's ballpark. The left field is a sun field for them, and at dusk, it's really hard to pick up the ball. You saw that early in the game on Frelick's double on Friday. He started in, had to go back, couldn't get to it. He's not reading the ball off the bat well enough at that time. Other than that, Curiel's been really good in the outfield. Once the lights have taken over in that park, he's been fine. Day game on Sunday, I expect him to be much improved. But that should have been an out, and you're facing McMurray in a 1-0 game at that point, and with 2 outs, and you're right there getting out of it. So again, Ianson pitching well enough, but the defense and the outfield not helping him out. And it happened again in the 5th inning. Now, that one, you end up with a leadoff walk. So you can't do that, right? Leadoff walk, not a thing. You give up the stolen base, fly out. Eric Snow homers. Oh, I'm sorry. I should say let me backtrack real quick. Jesus Christ. Okay. Let me refocus because I almost just lost it at a comment. But anyway, there's a structure to this show. Stick around. That's what I'll tell you. Anyway, the double by McMurray was the one that Pearson laid out for it, hit his glove, and he couldn't. So your outfield defense let you down there. Then Snow hits a ball off the batter's eye, 385 to center field. That's stupid. 385 I didn't think it had the distance off the bat. It just kept going, and it's a short center field. You credit him. Ianson hung a breaking ball, and he smashed it. Okay, hat tip Eric Snow. You're down. Hey, David, get the fuck off my YouTube chat, bro. Leave. I don't need you listening to the show. There's a structure to this. I give thoughts, key moments, then we answer questions. Go. I don't need you here. I don't do the show for you. I do the show for multiple people. And you know what? Not everyone who watches this later watched the game. Seriously, leave. Like, I don't need you watching the show. Go. Get out. Anyway. And at that point, the game felt out of reach. The game felt out of reach. And that's a problem. And that's where I want to get into the offense deeper. Because there is no point in time with this LSU offense that 3 runs should ever feel out of reach. Ever. And it did tonight. And that is unacceptable. 100% unacceptable. You are too deep. You are too talented. The structure of that lineup is too good for 3 runs to feel like 7. And that's what it felt like. The fly ball outs, you know what this reminds me of? Is that Omaha series. That's it. When LSU had that 10-inning stretch, they kept getting under the ball. LSU, in this series, you flied out 10 times on Friday. Saturday night, you flied out. I clicked the wrong tab. I want to make sure I have it right because I think they gave conflicting numbers on the broadcast. They did. 15 times. 25 flyouts in 2 games. Jay Johnson, you've heard him say this plenty. You've probably heard me play a cut of him saying this on this show this season. Hard, not far. That is the issue. Hard, not far. LSU, that's who this team is. You're not trying to hit the ball over the fence. LSU's power comes from trying to hit the ball hard, and then you go in there. David, why are you still here? I'm serious. Leave. I never once blamed pitching. I said Ianson was really good. And I said your bullpen's been the silver lining of the weekend. Seriously, leave. I don't want you watching. I'm going to block you. Like, get out. Go. I don't want you here. Honestly, get the fuck. The fly out, like, hard, not far. LSU's power comes from just trying to hit the ball hard. They have strong guys. They run into one. It gets up and it goes. So, line drives. And when LSU started to string some stuff together a little bit late in the game, it was hard, not far. It was line drives. Pearson, Braswell grounder up the middle, Stanfield, liner. I mean, even Jake Brown off the bench absolutely smoked a ball, but it was hit right to the center fielder. And that's kind of been the other problem here. Is this weekend when LSU has hit the ball hard, it's gone right at Auburn. Or it's just not falling in. Like, think of the great sliding catch Eric Snow made. It's just not really kind of falling in there. So it was a bad game. Really bad game offensively. You had 1 hit with runners in scoring position. You left 11 on base. A night ago wasn't much better for LSU. A night ago, LSU left 7 on base. And with runners in scoring position Friday, LSU hit just 222. So what you're looking at right now is LSU for the weekend in this series with runners in scoring position is 3 out of 19. 3 out of 19. Really, really poor. And that is why that and outfield defense is why. Let me be perfectly clear so no imbecile in the chat thinks I'm blaming pitching. Offense and outfield defense are why LSU has lost this series. And you looked fatigued, end of a 7-game road trip, facing a really good team. Auburn is a team that should host a regional, 100%. That's a team that has a chance to make a run as well. I think they're really, really good. I think Auburn's really good. I think LSU is really good. And here's the deal. LSU's 10-4. So we're not going to freak out and act like the season's over. LSU was 3-12 a year ago. 3-12 through 5 weeks. At worst, you're going to be 10-5. That's a lot better. Just is. And now you have back-to-back home series coming up as well. Yes, you're going to be in trouble facing Bama and then Tennessee. Those are two really good teams, but you're at home. So one of the things we've liked about the schedule is it's been your toughest series have been at home. Auburn, kind of the same thing. That's a really battle-tested team, too. I do want to commend the bullpen, though, one more time, because you have not seen Evans, you have not seen Cowan, and the LSU bullpen has given up 2 runs. That's been fantastic. Connor Ware was awesome. And the thing that intrigued me most and that I liked most about Connor Ware tonight for LSU, is it was more strikes than balls. He threw 20 pitches, 12 of them for strikes. He punched out a couple. He did have a walk, but it was with 2 outs. We talk about it all the time. Not all walks are created equal, and that's one of them. That was great. Connor Benj, phenomenal. 12 pitches, 9 strikes. Dude threw 3 balls. He was awesome. And went through, a tough part of that lineup, in a sense, because really the whole Auburn lineup is tough. He was great. It's great to see. Like, that's encouraging to me because I do believe at some point the LSU offense is going to snap out of this. They're too good. They're too talented. And Jay's too good of an offensive coach. So to see the bullpen really kind of taking the step that they are is awesome. And then DJ Primo, man, major hat tip to DJ Primo because he hadn't pitched since the Mississippi State series, I believe. And he came in and pounded the zone. 15 pitches, 11 strikes. That's awesome. 2/3 got Irish and McMurray. Irish, McMurray got the hit. He got Terrell. So he was in there to face 3 hitters, lefties, and he got 2 of them and held the line, held the 0. Your offense just wasn't good enough. And again, your offense hasn't been good enough for 3 games. And this is where I want to kind of go back to Justin's comment from earlier. And then we'll take some questions because, structure to the show. Talk about, Justin had mentioned 2 weeks. And here's why I push back on that. Here's why I push back on that. Is the conditions you played in a week ago, I thought LSU was great with runners in scoring position a week ago against Oklahoma, and they kept the ball low through the wind, except for Danny Dickinson, who just said, screw your wind, I'm hitting it through the damn stuff and hitting it over the fence for arguably one of the most impressive home runs we've seen an LSU player hit. LSU, their offense, they were in stride, right? And it suited those conditions really well. So no, they didn't light it up on a scoreboard, but there was one game they scored 10 runs. LSU's offense was fine a week ago because they were in character. LSU's offense is bad the last 3 games, Nichols, and the 2 against Auburn, because they're out of character. They're expanding the zone. They have long swings. They're trying to do too much. They're pressing. And once they settle back in, you'll see the you'll see the offense revert back to the form where they've been averaging almost, 7, 8, 9 runs a game. So they've been awesome. for the majority of the year. It's a rough 3-game stretch. It's very similar to what you saw in that series against Omaha in the second week of the season. Gotlit Light installers. Then we'll get to questions. Start lining them up. GotLitLights.com. Y'all go there for your quote. Permanent outdoor landscape lighting, flower beds, backyard pool area, front yard, backyard, commercial or residential. Go to Gotlit Lights, GotLitLights.com. Let Derek and his team illuminate your landscape. Private event you're hosting, anniversary party, weddings, wedding receptions, graduation parties are coming up. May will be here before you know it. Temporary outdoor lighting for that party, Gotlit Light, GotLitLights.com. And don't forget, for the Christmas season, their Christmas lights as well. That's how they got their start. Does custom design, cut to fit, install, maintenance, tear down, storage, Gotlit Light installers, GotLitLights.com. All right, questions. Line them up. Draku, question, why do you think we aren't getting swept? I don't think I said that. But I like where your pitching is tomorrow. I mean, you have Cowan and Evans to back up Chase Shores. You're going to be facing TBA. I don't know if Auburn's announced, but I would imagine it'll be Andreas Alvarez, who's a freshman. Like, you should have another, going through. So, you're in a good spot pitching-wise, and your pitching's been really good. Like, that's going to be why, hopefully, they don't get swept. And LSU can't get, like, we talk about it all the time. It's the old Palmineri line. It's hard to sweep in this league. It's easy to get swept. And LSU's finding that out right now. LSU should actually know that better than anybody. They've swept 3 series. There's going to be one they need. I think Chase Shores has really improved the last 2 weeks. We need him to we need him to continue on that trajectory if you're LSU. So he throws in a third grade outing, you're going to like your chances. But you have to start coming through offensively. Y'all smash the like button, get a few more questions in, and we'll get those answered. Llama Lance, what does that mean? Chase Shores got you 5 innings a week ago, and I think he gave up, 2 runs? Is that right, from Shores against Oklahoma? Or maybe he gave up 1, he was awesome. So if he's not going to do any better than that, that's fine. I'll take 5 innings of run baseball from your Sunday guy. That's really good. Like, that's really, really good. What's going to be most important for LSU Sunday is to get off the mat. You got to show some life. Like, that's what's important. Show life, and you can absolutely play and beat this team. Jay Johnson's _orange juice. Cowan or Evans first out of the pen tomorrow? That's a really good question. Cowan would be such a different look from Shores that I would hope that's the way they go. Just, Shores can get up to 98 with the sinker. Cowan's going to come in with the changeup, mix that with the 90-mile-an-hour heater. Much different look. And then you could go to Evans potentially at the back end, but you're going to see both of them. Cameron Scholl, do you think Jay Johnson shifts focus at a certain point of the game to Sunday, and that focus shift rubs off on the team's urge to play? No, I don't. I definitely don't think that was the case Saturday night. I mean, LSU, when you're down, you're not going to burn Cowan or Evans. That's just smart, managing and coaching. But he went to guys that they quote unquote trust, right? Connor Ware, Connor Binge, those guys delivered and kept you in the game. LSU's just flat offensively, and they're getting under the ball because they're not shortening up. They're not doing what they normally do with, at the plate with 2 strikes and whatnot. And that's unfortunate. Ashton Carter, $2 super chat. Big appreciation there with a like. No message, though, to read. Trying to scroll back up. See where, okay, here's where we were. Alfred, do you think LSU needs to settle on 3 positions, third base, right field, and DH? DH, I'm more likely to say continue to platoon. I'm fine with that there. I would like to see Jake Brown be the everyday right fielder. It is your best defensive lineup. That is just not an argument. That gives you 3 center fielders in the outfield, and that's better. Third base, it needs to be Michael Braswell. Because as long as he and Reeves continue to be comparable at the plate and batting average, and I'm not talking overall in the season, I'm talking in SEC play because that's what really matters, and they are comparable there. I want the better glove, and Braswell's the better glove. So the only reason I want LSU to settle is for defensive purposes. That's it. Brown gives you the best defensive outfield, and Braswell's your better glove at third base. Go 13 Saints. Do we use both Cowan and Evans? Yes. Yeah, you don't let one of them, don't go a weekend without one of them pitching. You use both of them. Jeffrey, got to help the staff with early runs. That'd be great. But the pitching staff is fine. Like, LSU's pitching staff's been awesome. Gulf South, Richard. Why Pearson over Larson? That's a great question, man. I thought I liked Larson's at bat tonight. He hit the ball hard. I thought that was awesome to see. So y'all know, look, I'm a huge Ashton Larson fan. Massive Larson fan. So I'm here for that. I love that. I'm trying to find my spot again. Does Fry get another start? If you see a righty out there tomorrow, I think you probably don't see Ethan Fry. But we'll see. Let's see. That's a great question from Fiercer23. Will leash on Shores tomorrow be shorter with Cow and Evans available? Probably yes. And I don't think that's a commentary on Shores and his development to this point in the season. It's just you have both of those guys available. You need to get them into the game as soon as possible and maximize it because you have to go all in to win. You don't want to get swept. I don't want to see I know I said earlier you can't get swept. You don't want to get swept. I mean, obviously. So, we'll see. Ashton Carter, if you had to change the batting lineup, what would you do? Kind of just went there. I would have Braswell be the everyday third baseman, and I would have Jake Brown be the everyday right fielder. Tanner, we just kind of answered that question about Jay putting in lower end bullpen guys. I don't think he did. Like, Connor Benj is second or leading this team in appearances. Connor Ware was thought of to be this elite bullpen arm for them all season. Like, you went to those guys and they executed. Like, that's your faith being rewarded. Lower end bullpen guys would have been, and I hate saying this because it sounds like such a shot to these kids, but I mean, that would have been Cade Woods and, Grant Fontenot. Like, that would have been that. They didn't do that. DJ Trauma Gaming, $2 super chat. Appreciate you, my guy. He says, do bats come back again? Nervous. Yes, they do. Of course they do. I'm not going to tell you they do Sunday, but LSU's offense will bounce back. They absolutely, I mean, we've seen them go through this type of stretch earlier in the year against Omaha, and then they were great. Andrew Sapp, is 20 conference wins the magic number for a top 8 seed? Absolutely. And you're halfway there already. With half the conference slate to go, 19 will get you a top 8 national seed. So we're not freaking out about the season here. Anybody who is freaking out about the season right now is stupid. Sorry. I don't really, there's no nicer way to say that. They were 3-12 at this point a year ago and were a run away from playing home super regional baseball. Draco, how concerned will you be if they get swept tomorrow? I won't be. They'd be 10-5. That's a lot better than 3-12. It's baseball, y'all. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Again, they were a one-run game away from playing home super regional baseball a year ago. Pretty good for 3-12. All right. Let's get a few more in here. Let's see. Seth Rushing, what's the reason for the slump with the bats yesterday and today? I really think it's as simple as they're just out of character. And it's a lot of fly ball outs. That's not who this team is. The swings are long. They're not shortened up. Like, what has been the hallmark for LSU this year at the plate is great two-strike hitting because of a short, quick, plan to the ball. That's been a hallmark, and scoring with 2 outs. And they haven't been able to do that. It's really nothing that Auburn has done exceptionally well. Auburn has used their top arms. I mean, there's Dylan Watts available again on Sunday, but I mean, you could see Cam Tilley again, but other than that, they've done pretty well. And obviously Auburn has gone all in to win these 2 games. LSU has not done pretty well, excuse me. Brock email says, so they can't start out hot, Musso, and fall off the planet? Sure, they could. I don't think this team will. I mean, LSU had a really rough second half of that series at Texas, lost it, showed some deficiencies, came back and swept 2 series. This team feels much more like an ebbs and flows team than, okay, they're going to crater. I don't see that with this team. I don't see that with this team. So, you got anything else? Jeffrey, do you think Bear is pressing? I think the whole lineup is pressing, but he's definitely included in that. He's expanding the zone like he hasn't done at all at this point this season. So, yeah. But I think they all are. All right. I'm going to go eat dinner. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Y'all smash the like button. Get subscribed. Follow on social media. Justin Surratt, I will answer that real quick, asks, what's Auburn have left in the pen? Cam Tilley could come back. He only threw 20-some-odd pitches, but he didn't pitch very well Friday night, but he could come back. He's a really good arm. Carson Myers, I would believe, is burned, but we'll see. You just saw Heltzer again for multiple innings, 2 1/3, and then but he has not really pitched back-to-back days, so I'd imagine that he's done. I'd be most concerned seeing Dylan Watts again. Or not again, but seeing Dylan Watts for the first time. But other than that, you've seen Auburn's best arms already. So they're a little further down in their pen, and you have Cowan and Evans. Like, LSU should be able, if the offense comes around, to score better. To better themselves on offense. Or what am I saying? LSU, with what they have available on the mound for Game 3, if the offense betters themselves, should be able to take that game. This is a horrible spot to be in, though. You don't want to be having to salvage. And that's another thing I'll say about LSU turning it, not paying. This is only the second time all year that LSU has lost back-to-back games. They've been really good. So hopefully they are tomorrow. The first 2 games, they haven't been good enough, and they lost the series. Again, I'm not surprised. And it's not a victory lap because I wanted to be wrong, but I picked Auburn to win this series. So, you want to know why I'm fairly calm when talking about the game? That's why. It's frustrating, but I didn't like the matchup. So, go salvage 1. You have to. Go salvage 1. You really need to do that. 11-4 is awesome. So, we'll see. That's going to wrap it up. Smash the like button on your way out. Get subscribed. Greatly appreciated. And be here next time for more on